Welcome to Geeks. We have a name. I bet you
Geeks.
didn't think it sounded like that.
It's not Baby Fingers like I said we should name it.
Baby Fingers.
Yeah, Baby Fingers.
I didn't.
We could just name
No,
it Baby
no, no.
Fingers.
You had like the one. You said the Gallic Engine. For
the
your
Gallic Engine was
recommendation.
one, but I definitely pitched Baby Fingers after we stopped recording. I said, we'll just call it Baby Fingers until we come up with a new name.
You know, you probably
Which,
did. And
Admittedly, I stole from Lyle Rath, because that was what he called Pregame Discharge before he named his show Pregame Discharge.
Baby Fingers. That is something Lyle would name it.
A very Lyle thing to do. Anyway, we have faces now,
We
because
do
I
have faces.
moved. I have moved from my old house into
Hello,
small room.
Avast. Thank you for popping up in the middle of my fucking screen, you shit.
We can't allow you to talk about it. I'm really glad I decided to do a video podcast today when I forgot to shave, so I got the neck beard going.
I
real
shaved
bad.
this morning because I had a job
Oh,
interview.
good for you.
We'll
So
see
what's been new with you before we start our podcast in utero? I don't think that's what I meant to say.
Well, now that
but
we're both
still.
properly set up, considering I was on vacation when we did the first one and you were still moving, we're all good. Unfortunately, can't have a beer today because I'm back on my cut. So we're going with good
Damn.
old H2O.
Oh yeah. I feel you there.
Mm-hmm.
Got my good old.
I gotta get ready for Hot Boy Summer.
Gamer girl piss. Anyway,
It's the drink of legends.
the drink of legends. Jesus approved.
Did you get the blue hair
anyway.
variant?
Oh yeah, it's
That's the only one.
the daddy issues give it more tastes. I'm gonna get ripped on by my friend who does have dyed hair.
Oh, get fucked. I hope she watches this. Get fucked.
Oh, don't worry, she doesn't watch anything I make. Anyway.
Whatever.
Ah,
So,
man.
the name Geeks.
Geeks.
It is it's a multiple things. One, it's a combination of both I and Mr. Jacob's name. He goes by
Yes.
Geeks the Dev. I go by Gallic Ender. It's more on his
Geeks
side.
the dev.
But
Hold on, time out. We need a redo.
what?
Redo. Cut paste
Meeks,
dry.
Meeks.
Meeks the dev. Yeah, or as they call me at McDonald's, Meh.
Meh. Do you really put Meeks for your order name at McDonald's?
Yeah, because it's my email.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the problem.
You don't have like a
so-
traditional business email
Well,
yet?
well, no, I do have a traditional business email. I just don't use it for McDonald's.
You know, that's fair. McDonald's doesn't deserve it, especially after the shit they've been
No.
pulling recently.
No, it's like, they ask you to put your real name in, and I hate doing that unless it's like something I actually really need them to know my real name for. So I'll just put like a fake name in there, usually just Meeks Dev.
Meeks Dev.
Meeks Dev is literally the name I put in there.
You know, my cousin and I, when we were kids, we used to put in fake names for when we ordered pizza. I don't know who the hell we thought we were fooling, because it's not like we ordered it delivery. We actually like walked in and picked it up because it was cheaper. So
I
we're
used
walking
to-
in with these dumbass names like fucking like Harry Dick or Maverick Melhouse. Something like one time we even put Donald Trump. And
Oh my god.
yeah, we were 16, so it was like nowhere
can't
near his
believe it.
presidency. But
Wow, you looked a lot different than you did in Home Alone 2.
oh man,
But no, yeah. No, I just do that, which is very, very fun. But yeah, no, I've just gotten fully moved in, got my full studio, which may have a bed in the background as well,
hey, humble
hidden
beginnings.
by my large head.
My studio
But yeah,
is shared with my
we are
girlfriend. I haven't even hung up. I've lived in this apartment for almost 6 months now. I haven't even hung up my project board.
Yeah, I need to hang up some stuff still. It's like I have like some album hangers. I need to put up for some of my records.
I got my records displayed on the wall in there. Like I
Yeah.
actually bought like holders and we have her top 3 and my top 3, and then I just have like a bunch of band posters next to it. It's really
I actually have. I just bought a really nice record.
Ooh, what'd you get?
I got the box set of Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness
Damn,
by Smashing Pumpkins.
that's awesome.
4-disc LP. I like how we're talking about this on our video game podcast.
Hey, it's the warm-up. We're getting there.
It's the warm-up. Yeah.
The first 5 to 10 minutes is always just talking bullshit. All right? No.
Are you saying that we might be creating more content by filling the space with shit people might not even care about?
I mean, you can
That's pretty topical.
You can make that argument about the podcast in its entirety. So
I've played every Assassin's Creed.
Poor man.
Oh man. Do we want to get on track, or should we?
Well, I wanted to talk about my super cool record box
Oh
set.
yeah,
that I
talk
just
about your super
bought.
cool record box set.
Well, for Record Store Day, oh god, this is a whole fucking arc.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Okay, I have an arc 2 involving Record Store Day that I'll talk about after
We'll do the Record Store Day, and then we'll hop on topic. So
Yeah.
my Record Store Day story just confirms that my girlfriend is an actual fucking badass and will
Sounds
do
like a
things
queen.
for me that most people wouldn't, because I had a wedding to attend to on Record Store Day, a wedding that I had to be there for the entirety of because I was a groomsman. So it's
yeah.
Yep, no choice. I had to be there. But
I
it's,
missed the concert because I was a groomsman at a wedding once.
Oh, damn, who was it?
So I feel it was the Midnight
Dang.
synthwave band. I love. I was telling a coworker about it. I'm like, yeah, they were in town one night and I couldn't go because I had a prior event. And she's like, oh, was the event that important? I'm like, well, I was a groomsman, so
Yeah.
a little bit.
You kind of have to. You don't get a choice. It's not your day
Yeah.
anymore when you become a groomsman.
So 420 though for a
wedding, a Record Store Day event, and of course weed day. What
Yeah.
a fucking combination of events. But
Actually, the wedding I was best man to was on 420 as well.
Dang.
420 2019,
I've
mainly
been-
so that their 50th anniversary will be 42069.
that's awesome. Oh wait, what?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, yeah, dude, I love my boy, who I'm not gonna name drop on here since he's not a public name.
That
but
is
you
so
know who you are, and I love you.
awesome.
Yeah.
That-
Oh, such a good wedding too. They're so cute together. Oh my god.
That's great. I've only been the
Like,
best
you know,
man
you-
of one wedding, and that was my cousin. You know what? That's fine. I don't want to be the best man anymore. It's too much pressure.
Oh, dude, it was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I had to write a speech, and I ended up just winging it. I had
That's
the
what I did
speech
with
in my
mine.
hand, this sucks, and I just threw it away.
All right. Well, back
I
to the
tried.
Record Store Day. So
Back to the restaurant. Yeah.
my favorite band, Dirty Heads, repping the merch.
Yeah, I
already.
see you're wearing their shirt.
Yeah, I love this shirt. It was a birthday present for my girlfriend. Another reason why she's awesome.
Yeah.
Their Record Store exclusive was a 4 LP box set of their newest album that include all the bonus tracks that they didn't release on the original one, including a smaller vinyl of their EP that they made a while ago. And I wasn't going to be able to go to it. So there was 2 stores participating in Jacksonville, and my girlfriend went to both of them while I went and did my groomsmen stuff during the wedding. The first store didn't even have it. And that was the same thing that happened the last time I tried to get an exclusive vinyl on Record Store Day. That store just never has what I want. But the other one opened up an hour later, but for Record Store Day it opened up earlier, but we didn't know that. So she goes there, waits in line in the hot-ass sun for 45 minutes.
Oh no.
Yeah. And she finally
oh,
gets
man.
inside and just avoids the whole loop, just goes straight up to the register. It's like, hey, before I even get into this, do you guys even have this? And the guy said, no, we only got 2 of them. Which is bullshit. And god damn it, I felt so bad. I literally sent her $25. I was like, get whatever the hell you want to eat. Get ice cream, get food. Just eat. So you've earned it. Thank you for doing
Yeah,
that.
she tried.
She did try. She
I
actually
respect it.
got
I
really
respect
upset about
it.
it. She said she cried when she got into the car. Oh, it felt so bad.
Well, hey.
She wasn't mad at me. I felt a little guilty for making her do that. I would have tanked it, no problem, but still.
Yeah, no, Gala girlfriend, you're a winner.
Yep,
You're
thank
a
you for
winner.
that, babe.
Hope you know that.
And then I ended up buying the thing on eBay
Yeah, well, at least you got it.
from a record store, so I didn't get overcharged.
I also went out towards Record Store Day. I was rushed because I was going to a watch party for the Fallout TV show with
Oh,
a couple
damn.
friends of mine.
I need to watch that. Everyone says it's really good.
It's excellent. Yeah, no, I have no complaints. It's really, really good.
I
Kyle
should've watched it
MacLachlan's in
today.
it, and I love Kyle MacLachlan so much.
Mm-hmm.
Weirdly enough, only the second best show I've been watching recently.
That was the first.
I've been watching the old '90s X-Men cartoon.
Hey, that's awesome.
Dude, it's so good. I love it so much.
I still love that
Like-
picture of like Wolverine, when, like holding the picture frame.
Oh, dude, you don't understand. That bit is so much funnier in context. 'Cause
Oh, no.
It's not even a picture of Jean Grey. Just a picture of Jean Grey. It's a picture of Jean Grey and Cyclops together.
Oh no.
So he's like, "Oh, I love this girl. I wish this bitch wasn't in it." It's dude. Freaking, I love Wolverine. Wolverine is so pathetic in those first 2 seasons. Like, holy shit.
That's so funny.
He is just being like, "Why doesn't this girl love me?"
Maybe you're wearing bright blue and yellow spandex, looking at a picture in the middle of the night. You fucking
to
loser.
be fair, Cyclops is also wearing bright blue and yellow spandex.
Oh no, it just gets worse.
Dude, I mean, are they on the side? They're not on the side of this cabinet. Damn, I would have just shown the picture of Cyclops from Marvel too.
I want
Dude, I see. Yeah, X-Men '97 came out, and apparently it's excellent, and I really want to watch it. But it's a
That's
continuation of the '90s
newer
series.
one, but it's
Yes.
based off the older one, right? But it's
Yes,
like
and
they even
every-
like styled it purposely after that.
Yes, and
Yeah.
everything I've heard about it is excellent.
That's good.
I'm just, before I go on with the Record Store Day story, I have a major crush on Rogue. I love her so much.
Oh no,
It's
just
like,
a
I
drawing,
can't
dude.
I can't be in a relationship because if I touch someone, I will drain them of life energy and they'll die. And all I'm thinking is worth it.
Laugh
worth it,
energy?
100%. Life energy.
Life energy. I thought laugh.
Like, Rogue's whole ability is she can suck the life out of you through skin contact.
Mm-hmm.
And which, if she does to a mutant, steals their superpower. Fun fact, the reason she's so powerful in that show is because she literally drained Miss Marvel for like 2 straight minutes and nearly killed her.
Damn.
2
2 minutes.
but yeah.
it's quite a time.
It's a lot of suck. It's
Yeah.
a lot of suck. But no, yeah, Rogue is my queen, and I love her. Apparently, her voice actress in '97 is the same voice actress that was in the original, which apparently is the only case for any of the characters, as far as I'm aware.
I mean,
could be wrong
a show's
about
so
that, but
old. Who knows what those voice actors are doing now? Like,
Probably dead.
exactly. I mean,
Literally
it's impressive
dead.
enough they got one, really. Like,
Yeah.
But
But no, seriously, the old '90s X-Men is great. It's campy and has moments of like really bad cheese or ugliness, but like, man, I love it. Also, characters scream a lot. Like, it's bizarre.
all right. So what did you pull for Record Store Day?
Yeah, I pulled nothing because I wasted my time. I
Damn.
went in front of this store, in front of the record store I was gonna go into. I was looking for the Weekend live at SoFi Record because I really like the Weekend and I really like that concert. I watched the special on HBO like a million years ago.
Nice.
But yeah, at the front there was a pop-up shop, and I decided to scroll through there, and I found 2 albums by The Fix, which is a very old band that I love.
Nice.
And I was about to grab them after like browsing for like an hour. I'm like, okay, I need to go. I'm just gonna buy these. And I go up to the thing to get them, and the 2 guys I was talking to like the whole time were basically like, oh yeah, it's actually cash only. And I'm like, in
This
the
day?
year of our Lord 2024,
I was about to say, like, what? Those are stolen.
You have-
man. Like, if they want
you
cash
have
on. They
one-
stole them things.
you have one reason to ask for cash, and that's if you're homeless. Like that is the only, or if you're going to a strip club.
Like a modern store, cash only.
Well, it was a pop-up store in front of.
Even
the actual
then,
record
like at least
store.
have a square or something.
Yeah,
Like,
you'd think they'd have a square.
like
Very
fuck?
bizarre. Like, the only 2 people who ever like ask for, the only 3 times I can ever think of like asking for dollar bills, if it's like a tip, and even then, like, most people can do tip on card. If you're homeless and just need money, which, hey, look, I'm not gonna judge.
Yeah.
Shit sucks, man. I feel like my earlier comment might have been a little insensitive, so I like to apologize.
It's fine. It's fine.
I've done work with homeless people before. It's just a tragedy. But, like, that's the only people I can think of who could actually benefit from having, like, physical currency.
Absolutely.
And strippers. Because you're not going to give a card to a stripper.
Oh hell no.
I've never been to a strip club, but that even I know that. Dollar bill, y'all.
Okay.
Ugh. But anyway, yeah, I ended up walking away with nothing.
Damn. Well,
So that was neat.
looks like we had similar fates.
Yeah. So now that we've wasted a good amount of time, we can finally get on track to the main quest line. You know, that thing that we don't actually have that much of, so we're filling it with bullshit. Doesn't that sound familiar? Hey,
there's plenty to talk about. So
are we gonna talk about the 1,000,000-hour RPG?
Maybe. I have no idea what you're talking about. We'll get into that. So,
I thought that was the topic.
No, well, it involves the topic. Today's topic is about like should the longevity of a game actually affect if it's good or not? Like, is it necessary, or does it like? There's a whole lot of things that can go into it, like price tag, content in the game, and just the overall like user experience. It's not. I mean, we're not like kids anymore where we can just go pick up a game and like do nothing but play said game for like an entire weekend anymore. Then again, we also aren't looking to pay $70 for a game that only has 3 hours of content. So where's like the middle ground in all of this, and like what makes the length of a game worth it, essentially?
I've described this issue as the infinite RPG problem, where okay, let me put it like this. I've played all the Yakuza games, and those games range wildly in terms of length. Yakuza 5 being the most content full game I've ever seen that's just too damn long that by the time I was done with it, I was just done. I didn't want to look at Kiryu for a while. And then they advertise Yakuza Gaiden, the man who erased his name. And they advertise that it is mercifully short. To the point where I'm like, oh, I'm actually way more interested now that I know it's a shorter game. Because frankly speaking, I would rather have a short game. If it's going to be a shorter game, I can kind of trust that's probably going to be mostly killer without much filler. Because the worst thing you can do in a game is like bore me for long stretches of time. It's my problem with Final Fantasy 16, is like half of its content is so excellent, and it's followed up by just the most filler moments you can ever have in a game.
I haven't had a chance to play 16 as of yet. I'm kind of waiting for the PC port.
Yeah, that's fair.
Despite, I mean, I have a PS5.
It's definitely coming. It's definitely coming.
But I know when I've played 15, 7, and 9 currently.
Okay.
15. I'm just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and say like, it's such a weird type of game because half the time you're just riding in the car with your mates. Or like doing some fucking camping cutscene bullshit, or even the combat felt really unsatisfying because it was just hold button, maybe teleport, or like set up a combo with one of your boys. But I will have to say, like, the voice acting was excellent. The music, of course, for every Final Fantasy game, fantastic. The story,
oh yeah, I mean, Final Fantasy with bad music,
it did the job. I mean, it honestly just felt like a basic anime type deal, but the characters were so likable that it kind of enhanced it a bit for me.
Yeah, I'll say hanging out with the Dude Bros is probably the best part of that game.
Exactly.
Just hanging out with Noctis, Ignis, Daddy, and and Cookman.
And Cookman.
Captain Chef. But no,
fault of a new recipe. Well, that's great.
Like,
he would just say that out of the blue.
Listen, Noctis, I'm sorry that your home's been destroyed. Have you ever thought about having a delicious cup noodle with all of its great ingredients mixed in?
Holy shit, the cup noodles.
Dude, that I watched my dad play that.
That game had so many sponsorships that it was like Coleman, I think, was also a big thing in it.
Do you know why Final Fantasy 15 is like that?
I heard it was it was supposed to be a completely different game, or it was actually supposed to be a mobile game.
3 different games. It was supposed to be 3 different games.
Oh no!
Tetsuya Nomura originally was making this spin-off to Final Fantasy 13 about a kingdom like ensued by violence. It was going to be called Final Fantasy 13 Versus. And it was going to be this like hyper-violent, essentially what Final Fantasy 15 was, but without the party aspect to that extent. And it was going to be like way bloodier. And that was the original idea, but it still took place in the same universe, right? as 13.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was Final Fantasy 15, which was originally going to be this massive opera. Originally, it's supposed to be a musical.
The fuck?
Tetsuya Nomura wanted to be a musical,
like a video game that's a musical.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, people would later go on to do it. I mean, there was one by a bunch of Obsidian devs that's apparently great that I forgot the name of. If you find it afterwards, please edit it in the episode where I said it.
Sure.
Yeah, the game was eating so many resources from Square Enix and with having had so little success that they gave it to some other guy who I'm going to look up right now because I don't want to forget his name. But I believe it was his first time ever fully directing a video game.
I mean, for a first attempt, not bad, but
and it's just
he
using
obviously
the assets. Hajime Tabata. There we are.
The man just obviously just wanted to hang out with his boys because that's basically all you're doing. You're just sitting in that car, riding for God knows how long, and you can't even skip it.
And that's why the game is like half finished. And that's actually a perfect example of what I wanted to talk about as far as like the Infinity RPG. Because 15 has maybe 3 to 4 hours of like actually really good content, followed by a whole lot of faffing about doing nothing important. And not necessarily in a way that's fun. Like sometimes I'll do something that's not important in a video game and it's just fun. Like, I mean, even
at the very beginning of the game, you kind of get a sense of like how much nothing you're in for, because the first thing you're told to do is to go out into this field that's like 3 miles away by foot, and then slay this monster. And it takes for fucking ever to get out there because Noctis is so damn slow, even when he's sprinting.
Dude, the game is like a constant back and forth through a story that is nonsensical. There's like no real motivation for like the first few hours. Like
the motivation is just to hear more dialogue from the boys.
That's it. That's the only thing to think of. And the world building is such a mess. Like later dungeons are literally using store-bought assets, not even original assets. I don't know if you know that. One of the main dragon bosses that you fight like twice in the game is a open source Unreal asset.
That's hilarious.
I think it was Unreal. It's an open source asset, which apparently just because that game was rushed to high hell, and it kind of shows how badly it runs and how unfinished it is.
You think a company?
By the way,
Square
you want
Enix...
the complete story? Buy the 4 character DLCs.
What? Oh God.
Oh, did you not know about that?
I kind of... Is that like when they grow up or something? Because I see the picture now, and it looks... It's just Noctis with a beard. And like...
So, no, the DLCs actually cover each character's backstory.
Oh, God.
So it covers like how Ignis joined the group, how Agnes joined the group, and how Ugnis joined the group.
Prompto.
Prompto.
Little bitch boy Prompto with his tiny little gun.
Oh, no, that's Ignis's...
No, Ignis is the chef guy.
Is he?
Yeah, because they call him Iggy.
I thought that was Umpto.
Umpto, Prompto.
Ogdo Bogdo.
You're Noctis.
My favorite Final Fantasy character, Glup Shido.
You play as Noctis, and with your 3 mates, Octo, Bocto, and Mocto over here, fucking...
As Noctis Lucius Calum, you have to travel across the kingdom, all while assuring everyone that you're not gay.
I will say, that car...
And you were just really close with your friends.
Everyone wanted the Regalia. I don't care what you... Like, that car was so badass.
No, Regalia's cool. I wish you could actually control it, but, I mean, it's cool.
You kind of can. You could...
Yeah.
You can, like... It's like controlling a fucking train.
Kinda is not can, though.
You're right.
But, yeah. So anyway, yeah, Final Fantasy 15, a lot of fluff.
A lot of fluff. And then you take a... And then I want to like move on to another example of like probably the most controversial Zelda title out there, Breath of the Wild.
Oh, here we go. Okay.
A lot of like... I've seen every take under the sun when it comes about that game. It's a masterpiece. It's not a Zelda game. It's the most Zelda game. No. It's the fact it's not actually good. There's like a whole bunch. It's literally fluff about. It's literally like the most well-designed map ever. Like literally everybody on every single spectrum is just fucking hating or praising this game. And
Breath of the Wild is my number 2 game of all time.
Exactly.
Like,
I think
it's
I'm
excellent.
on the boat
I don't
that
think it's a
I'm
Zelda
on the boat
game.
that Tears of the Kingdom is better, but I will always have respect for Breath of the Wild. That's a debate for another day. But
yeah. Actually, no. Actually, you know what? I think Tears of the Kingdom actually would make sense for me to talk about because I feel like Tears of the Kingdom especially kind of made me feel this way.
Really?
About the Infinity RPG.
So what's the aspect of it? Because Breath of the Wild, I'll go ahead and say the base Hyrule map, probably one of the best designed maps in gaming history. No matter where you are, there's something to do. There's a puzzle to solve. There's a core. I think the Koroks were fucking bullshit. I don't really care for the Koroks, but it's just, they're just kind of there.
They're a cute idea.
It was a cute idea, and it was a good distraction when you're just kind of vibing out in the hills. But eventually, the puzzles just kind of start getting, yeah, we're doing this again. But
so that's how I feel about like 99% of the building in Tears of the Kingdom.
The building?
Yeah, the buildings.
What do you mean the building?
It feels,
like the building, like the building mechanic, or the buildings?
Yes, the building mechanic. I feel like it is constantly forcing you to mess with the building mechanic in ways that I just don't want to. And I
never had that problem.
Okay, so Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom I don't regard as like standard Zelda games. I've described them under a new title that I've called Zelda Gaiden. Sort of a spin. It's how I've been calling it because I'm just like, it doesn't fit in with any of the other Zelda games, but I still think it's excellent. But I can't call it my favorite Zelda game because it doesn't feel like a Zelda game to me.
What's the first Zelda game you played?
Twilight Princess.
That's why it doesn't feel like a Zelda game to you.
Well, no, if my first one was like, if my first one was like Zelda 1, because I played through Zelda 1,
Zelda
doesn't
1
really feel like that either.
Breath of the Wild is practically Zelda 1 on like crack and steroids combined.
Yeah, it's Zelda 1's like design statement, but it's not Zelda 1's like feel. Like it feels fundamentally different to me
because of the technology and the improvements. But it's basically the same. It's basically the same premise. You wake up, you walk out of your cave, and boom, you're set free. Go do whatever the hell you want. Explore what you want. Do whatever you want in whatever order you can. It's literally the core.
But the way everything works, you're not collecting new items to be able to get to new areas. That's
basically the weapons, the armor, the master sword.
Yeah, it's just weapons, armor, but like we're not talking like boomerang, hook shot, any of those. Like none of that's actually.
You can find boomerangs.
Well, yeah, but
and you don't have the hook shot because you have the fucking iPhone of Destiny. Like,
yeah, no, I'm saying like the core part of like the Zelda experience is very similar to like your average Metroidvania, where you're collecting these items that help you progress farther in the game to areas that you usually wouldn't be able to go to. And due to the design nature of Zelda Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, that can't be instated because that would imply that you wouldn't be able to actually have this full open world. And I get that, and I actually really love the way Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are designed, but they're so counter to like your average Zelda design. It's not to say those are bad games. Again, Breath of the Wild, probably my second favorite game of all time.
I'm not angry at you or anything. We can have a discussion about Zelda titles. But
like, no, totally. Yeah, no. I'm just giving my statement on it.
All right, well, maybe that'll be another episode. What classifies a Zelda game?
But Tears of the Kingdom, right?
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom. I feel like with Breath of the Wild, going through that map, as we said, is perfectly designed, was such a magical experience.
It really was.
Like hearing the legend of the Goron that apparently fell off the bridge, and you can still hear his ghost, and it turns out there is a Goron down there just making a golf course.
Yeah.
Going to like the top of this like tower in the middle of nowhere, only to find out that the Yiga clan is just living there. There's so many really cool things to do in Breath of the Wild. And it feels like there's a discovery around every corner. I remember going to like some random island. So I'm like, I bet I can go there. And that was a trial.
Yes.
That was a literal like trial dungeon.
It shook up everything. It's like, boom, you're naked now. Good luck. Like,
yeah, good luck, dipshit. Survive. Exactly. And that's awesome. And then Tears of the Kingdom, I felt like was a marked step back. Like mainly okay, so I don't like the abilities. Are you
talking about in terms of its length or in terms of like what it had? Like,
in terms of what it has. right? Okay, so the enemy variety is a little better, but not enough for me to justify it as its own thing.
I'd say it's relatively the same with like a couple new ones added in. I mean,
Weapon degradation somehow feels worse, and I know they added the whole like fuse mechanic to make that like counteract that bit, but that's just putting a band-aid on a bigger issue. It's not really fixing it.
Yeah.
I don't hate degradation. I like the idea that it forces you to like have to switch weapons, but I don't know what it is about Tears of the Kingdom, but I just felt like now I'm not only dealing with like limited uses on weapons, I'm also dealing with the resources I have to attach to them, and now those are limited as well.
The only
so
thing
most
I
of the
didn't
time,
like about the
I would just
degradation-
stockpile.
I'm sorry.
Say again. Oh, really?
The only thing I didn't like about the degradation in Tears of the Kingdom was Tears of the Kingdom was like Zelda content galore. Like every single fucking costume is in the game, and you can find it with or without the amiibo.
I'm running around with the Twilight Princess outfit like right
exactly,
now.
and I'm running around with the Fierce Deity set. Like
yeah.
But you can also find a lot cooler weapons. Like you can actually find the Fierce Deity sword, but once you break it, it's fucking gone. Yeah. And
it's gone.
Like, why would you put a durability on that? I wish it would like recharge like the Master Sword.
Well, I mean, you could just do the gimmick of feed it to one of those Octoroks, and then they'll clean it for you.
But even then,
Repair it.
I have to like hold on. It's just permanently taking up a weapon slot, and I'm not going to be able to use it till I go back and find that Octorok.
And that is. Like, dude, I literally on my map, I have pinpointed every single Octorok location.
God forbid you fuck up the weapon throw and it hits the damn thing.
Oh no, you don't throw it. You just drop it and then use the magnet to put it close to him.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, no, it's the thing. Tears of the Kingdom. Tears of the Kingdom is not. I don't think it's a bad game, but I don't like it nearly as much as Breath of the Wild because one. The gimmicks it's going for don't appeal to me. I don't much care for the building at all. It was fun at first when I was just goofing around, and then as I played more with it and saw its limits, I just did not want to use it.
I don't know what you mean limit, man. This is the shit that people have made like full functioning.
Oh, people
mech
made
suits.
really cool things. But there is like an upper limit to like what you can make.
I get
like,
that is true. I mean, every tool's got a limit, but
that's not even my biggest problem with the game. Really. This might be controversial. I don't know.
That's okay.
I don't care for either the sky or the underground segments of the game. I thought they were so cool at first, and as I'm like playing with the Sky Islands, I'm like, these feel like filler, and I'm going underground, and I'm like, a hot take. I actually really like the underground more than I like the the Sky Islands. Cause
I can
like
agree with you on
interesting
that.
Stuff down there.
I like the aesthetic of the Sky Islands more, but the underground has a lot more in it.
But even then, like once that magic kind of wears off, it's just like, oh, it's just a bunch of empty space that's dark because they don't want you to see how much empty space there is. At least that's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Like, look, I'm not the arbiter of taste. But that I feel like Tears of the Kingdom, especially compared to Breath of the Wild, is a lot more filler.
I can see that in a sense of there's a lot more stuff. And that's essentially what they did from Breath of the Wild, which was typically I would say a 40 to 60 hour experience should you try to 100%.
I got like maybe 120 hours.
Same, but like that was basic. It was mostly just me dicking around, right?
I mean, yeah, that's part of the experience.
I haven't beaten Tears of the Kingdom yet because I'm trying to 100% it like I did with Breath of the Wild. I'm like 2 shrines away. I just gotta find them.
Interest.
Yeah, it's a chore, but
it's rough, man.
The whole concept of
the
whole argument of the game was like there's very little like substance and more like fluff in the terms of shrines, items to find, and that sort of thing being like repeated over and over and over.
At least to me, the shrines in Tears of the Kingdom feel so much worse than Breath of the Wild. Like the shrines in Tears of the Kingdom are like the shrines in Breath of the Wild are like, we're gonna give you a weird problem and you have to figure out how to fix it. The shrines in Tears of the Kingdom are, we're gonna give you a really weird problem. You're gonna have to figure out how to fix it. Spoiler alert: you're gonna have to build something.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that with the building.
And then occasionally you get the one that's like, we're taking away all your weapons. Go kill all these enemies. You
I
have
actually
shitty
like
weapons,
those
so you have
ones
to
because
fuse
it makes
them.
me think a little outside of the box a bit.
Yeah,
But
it just wears.
it's
on
better
me.
than the combat trials that are in Breath of the Wild, where you're just hit with this rope. Like, if you don't have enough weapons, you're not fucking getting past it.
I actually prefer the combat trials in Breath of the Wild.
Hey, that's
only because they're shorter.
They are shorter, but
Yeah.
when you start
But
getting to
I'm
like the more
spending
advanced
less
ones,
time.
and you don't have enough weapons, you're just kind of boned.
Like if I see one of those shrines in Breath of the Wild, I'm just like, whatever. At least it's not gonna last long. And then if I go to like that in Tears of the Kingdom, I'm like, I don't even want to be here.
So
Like,
I will say with the
yeah.
building, it is 100% optional outside of the shrines. Like, I did not build that much when I was in the overworld.
There's a couple of those dungeons that expect you to build.
Well, that's why I said outside of the shrines. And maybe the dungeons, I guess, because they wanted you to like fiddle
there are
around
also
with like
many-
a big wheel or something.
most of the side content is based on building.
Yeah.
Like holding all the signs up, or
Oh, that's
getting
so dumb.
getting the Korok over to his friends, or a bunch of the side quests involving
come on, Korok
building
torture.
your house.
Korok
Oh,
torture was
oh,
fucking
dude.
funny.
I can probably find it in my. I can probably send it to you right now so that you can put it up on stream.
Yeah.
I definitely have a picture of a crucified Korok that I crucified myself. Not even joking. I swear to God, cross and all. It's there.
I feel like another side of humanity was shown with Korok torture.
It's just everyone who didn't play Breath of the Wild is like, oh, this is terrible. Why would they do this? And everyone who has played is like, the little bastard deserved it.
This is what you get for making me find all these seeds for a literal pile of shit. Like,
Literal shit.
Literal
I remember I had a buddy in college who was playing through Breath of the Wild, was so excited about 100%. I know you get something really cool finding all the Korok seeds. And they did, and I'm like, hey, how was it? He's like, it's not worth it. It wasn't worth it.
wish
And I
could've
didn't
been
know
there.
why until I found out about the shit. And it's like, oh, it's so good.
It's so funny.
It's so good. Also, I just passed the picture we all took of going dicks out in Baldur's Gate 3.
Beautiful.
You want to talk about a game that's like all killer, no filler?
Baldur's Gate.
Boy,
I still
Baldur's
haven't-
Gate 3.
Still haven't fucking beaten that game.
I know, neither have I.
I have
because
over 200 hours in fucking Baldur's Gate 3. I still haven't beaten it. But every time I play it, I discover something new, which is like, I guess,
Man, Baldur's Gate 3 is so cool. I wish I was more than halfway done with the game.
I don't even know if I'm halfway through Act 3. But,
Act 3 is like 60% of the game.
god damn it.
That's what's so nuts about it. Is like,
why?
not only is the game big, but Act 3 is like bigger than like the first two combined.
But, like, it's so good. It's so
it's really good.
Well, it's like a game
that's
that
the
took
thing-
forever to beat, but you thought was bullshit. Like,
What game? It took forever to beat that I thought was bullshit. Trying to think. Alien Isolation's way too long.
oh god. I think that's just because there's a lot of hiding.
Yeah, I mean, I like Alien Isolation a lot, but I feel like 25 hours is a lot to ask for that kind of game.
Yeah. You can only sneak
Boy,
around.
that you can only get scared by the world's scariest monster for so long.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Even then,
I'm
like,
trying to think of, like-
it was really hard to navigate that game too.
I'll say Yakuza 5 really grates on you by the time you finish the game, because holy shit, that's a long game.
Mm-hmm.
No other Yakuza game is that long. 8 apparently is pretty long, but I don't know if it's as long as 5. Like 5 is too much.
I'm gonna go with an indie title, and I'm gonna say Bolt Gun.
Real okay.
Bolt
Does that
Gun.
count as indie? I figured that was AA.
Probably AA, but
Yeah.
it was made by an indie studio that had like
Okay.
basically. I mean, I haven't played any of their past games, but it didn't look any like appealing to me at least. But holy shit, especially because they reuse a lot of bosses throughout the entirety of the game, like I've probably fought the same boss. There's like three bosses they revolve around, and I fought them all at least like 12 times by the end of the fucking game. And I don't know. The gimmick of find 3 keys and open 3 doors got old really quickly.
I get they were going for like old like Doom and Duke Nukem level design, but it does get boring. By the way, I did send you the crucified Koroks.
Thank you.
So
I'll
you
put
can
that
use
on
those.
screen.
Yeah, put
right
that
now.
on screen.
There it is.
Yeah,
Boom.
right now.
But with Bolt Gun, that was an example of like they pushed it out too long, I guess, because they thought it was too short initially. Because there's a lot of repetitive looking levels, there's a lot of repetitive bosses, and there's just a lot of repetitive gimmicks. And I would have been perfectly fine with like maybe 12 levels that all looked different and all had like different puzzle aspects about them, with maybe like a couple bosses sprinkled here and there. At least it would have like kept them fresh, and that way they would have had such a solid foundation. So when they inevitably make Bolt Gun 2, because I believe the first title did well enough that it's like, why wouldn't you make a sequel, especially with the Warhammer IP? But it's just, they just overdid it. I think they stretched themselves too thin with it.
Like, pacing really has to do with making a game feel too long, because there's some games I'm like, I think this is the accurate amount of length it should have been for the price point.
Yeah.
God of War Ragnarok, I feel like, is a game that I think felt too long, but I think that's just due to a lot of pacing issues. There's so much of that game that is just talking while moving through boring areas.
I didn't have that problem. How am I having these
boat.
issues that you have?
The boat.
The boat? Okay, I can see the boat.
Or no, sorry, not the boat. Not the boat. Sorry. Going on the back of the yak and with what's her name?
Yeah.
And you're just shitting about or climbing the wall.
Yeah.
Like, climbing the wall I thought was cool, but God, that takes way too long.
When you were Kratos, great game. When you were Atreus, it was boring as shit.
When you're Atreus, it's just like, oh God, it's all filler. It all feels like filler.
He doesn't even feel good to play as. Like, his combat is just literally mash the button. It's.
I mean, there's some stuff in there that I think is genuinely really cool. I like his transformations. I think that's neat.
I guess. They don't feel good, though. They're really clunky.
Yeah, a little bit.
Especially the wolf.
I can agree with that. Yeah. It's a little clunky. I'll fully admit that. But no, yeah, it's like... The problem is you briefly mentioned it earlier. It does come down to, like, hey... If I'm going to be paying $70 for my video game, it better be worth the $70. And hours per minute or dollars per hours of gameplay is a real thing.
Absolutely.
That is, while I think overrated, I understand, because I wouldn't pay $70 for Journey. And I love Journey. But like $70 is a lot to ask for a game that is like not a full ass like 20-hour thing.
There's also the argument of the game not, if you were to like play through a game straight through, it's like a 2-hour experience, opposed to like
Bethesda
getting the content turns it into maybe like a 6 to 8 hour experience.
Yes,
and
a Bethesda game.
A Bethesda game, or
I'm playing through New Vegas right now, and that's not really Bethesda, but like it's very similar. It's like, yeah, if you just follow the main story beats, you can just go to New Vegas and like
another good example from like quantity over quality, at least in this concept. Like the two brand new 3D Mario titles for like Mario Odyssey, you could probably people have sped run that game in like hour and a half. But all the content lies in finding all the moons. But there's a fuck ton of moons. Holy shit.
And that could technically count as filler depending on how much fun you find that collectathon style game to be. I personally loved 99% of it, with a few challenges I thought were kind of bullshit.
Yeah,
not because they were hard, but because they were boring.
Stupid ass jump rope. I'm never gonna be able to get that moon. You have to do.
Oh, I got that. So you know, one of the easiest way to get that moon?
Huh?
Get on the moped.
Really?
The moped's jump height is way more consistent.
I'll have to try that, but I don't have any
Yeah,
plans.
silly.
I don't have any plans to 100% Odyssey anytime soon.
No, yeah, it's fair.
I've like 95% of it at most. I will say the perfect 3D Mario title to me was the spin-off they did with the re-release of 3D World, Bowser's Fury.
Is that good?
I loved it. Oh my god, it's great.
I really want to play that at some point. I just
even
haven't
if you
done it
100%,
because Nintendo will never discount their games.
Even if you 100% it, you're probably only going to look at like 3 to 4 hours, but it's such a fun little adventure. And it's like slapped, and to me, like the playtime's forgiving because it's slapped on the back of another great Mario game, which is 3D Land. But I think like them...
3D Land's really... Or 3D World, you're thinking
3D World.
actually.
3D Land was on the DS, which I actually think is better
3DS,
than 3D World. But
I like... I'm not sure. I really love 3D World.
I like both. They're both great, but...
They're both very good. I beat both. They're great.
Me too. But yeah, Bowser's Fury, it's like the perfect little bite-sized adventure. Nothing about it feels like rushed. Nothing about it feels too long. Exactly. And if you 100% it, Bowser gets, like, the last fight with Bowser, he gets, like, glowing white hair instead of the fiery red, and it's really cool.
Super dope.
If you look I actually still have the stream up. I 100%ed it the day it came out. But you're gonna see fat face me, so be prepared for that.
Yeah, you gonna see you think golden fat I said golden fat Mario. I meant golden cat Mario. You said fat face. It got me thinking.
I wish when I was a chubby boy.
Yeah, you lost so much weight. You look great, by the way.
Thank you. I lost 70 pounds.
Damn. I keep hearing that number and it keeps shocking me. Meanwhile, I've gained 20. Anyway.
Hey, no worries, brother.
You think Golden Cat Mario could beat Frieza?
Like when he's really big after hitting the bell?
Yeah.
No.
No?
Frieza could just casually blow up planets.
What if Frieza killed Yoshi? Do you think Mario could get angry enough to beat Frieza?
I don't see it in his personality.
No?
Mario can
not even wasn't my friend!
I only dropped him in a pit when I needed to reach an area, but he was still my friend.
You a fool! Woohoo!
I've only killed him and his offspring multiple times that I've lost track of who's the original Yoshi.
Kamehameha! Oh, man.
No, I think Mario would just...
bit.
I don't think he would get mad that he killed Yoshi. I think he'd get mad that Frieza was just simply in the way or, like, took Peach or some shit.
He's gonna jump on Frieza's head.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Frieza gets shorter. Every time Mario bounces on his head, he just goes down.
He's losing forms.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, that's so funny.
Oh, that's so good. I miss Toriyama.
Same.
But yeah, no, like the worst thing a game can do, in my opinion, is waste my time. I would, like, nothing is worse to me than when your game is more filler than actual content. If your game's a 90-hour game, I want at least 80% of it to be killer. I don't want it to be modern Assassin's Creed, where it's like 88% fluff.
Dude, Origins broke me.
I'm being
made me
nice.
stop playing
I'm
the
being
series.
nice. I'm being nice by saying only 88% fluff. It's Origins, Ragnarok, Odyssey. It's all just brutal, man.
Mm-hmm. The new
It's
era
so
of
brutal.
Assassin's Creed, like past
Or Valhalla, rather. Sorry.
Valhalla, it's whatever. It's the same shit. I haven't even tried the new
Just call
one.
it Norse.
The
So Mirage was actually the most interesting one to me in a while because it was short. It's apparently like we're shortening the scale, and I'm like, great. I would rather play a shorter game that is less filler than a massive game that's mostly filler.
Yeah, I felt that way when I played Rogue. I thought Rogue was probably one of the best titles.
Yeah,
because of its
Rogue's
length. Then it differentiated.
Wait, I'm thinking of
itself
4. I actually didn't play 4. I didn't actually play Rogue.
Rogue is really good.
I have played 4. I've heard Rogue's good.
Rogue is 4 if 4 didn't have so much fluff in it.
See, 4 I felt like was relatively light on the fluff for the most part. Like the treasure hunts were kind of fluff, but like weren't too terrible. I'd say the worst part
I
was
think-
collecting the sea shanties and feathers.
I think, okay, maybe I think it's the fact that it's scaled down and that it didn't take as long to get from place to place like it did
Yeah.
before. That's
It
what
didn't
made
become-
Rogue a lot. That's what made Rogue feel a bit better,
Yeah.
because like half the appeal of like because AC4 was actually a launch title. And they wanted to show off, like, look at these graphics and look at this ocean.
the
You
graphics,
played on
oh
the
my
Xbox
God.
One and the sea won't look like fucking Jello.
It does chop. Sometimes the ship will go into the water and rise out of it like it's being summoned by a Jesus.
I love that.
Which did
I
happen in the new
absolutely
ones.
love that.
Still
also
less
like it when
buggy
the
than your
enemies
average
just
Fallout game.
convulse on the ground.
Oh,
They
it's
just
so
like
good.
sling off. Oh, that's the jank I love.
Yeah.
Keep doing that. But all the other bullshit you're doing, stop that.
But no, yeah, I would like. It's the problem of like so many people try to advertise their game as like, oh, 100+ hours of content. And I'm like, but is it really though?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it 10 hours of content that you've stretched?
Have you played Starfield?
I have played Starfield, yes.
Because I hear it's just fluff, and it's bad fluff, if that. Like, it's really bad.
I have played Starfield, yes.
The sign of a coping Bethesda fan.
Oh, dude, okay. I played Starfield because I found out what the New Game Plus hook was, and I thought that was fascinating.
It's just like you go into another universe essentially, and things are
The way the
different.
universe thing works is fascinating.
And that's a cool idea.
I like that idea. But
then again,
the
you can also get a better
problem is-
experience with that with No Man's Sky. But even then, No Man's Sky wasn't. No, fucking,
No Man's Sky is another problem that has gotten better, but I still just don't like the core gameplay loop.
mm-hmm.
Man, just Starfield feel like from moment one feels like this is a game that has been stretched, like down to perks. Some of the perks in that game are just basic features in earlier Bethesda games. Like, hey, do you want a sneaking icon to show that whether you're actually stealthed or not, or if anyone can see you? Yeah, that's a perk. We have jetpacks in the game. Do you want to be able to actually use them?
Wait, what the fuck?
That's a perk.
Dude, some of this is just basic shit, like in Skyrim, like the whole
Dude.
stealth thing. Like it was just the eye. I thought that was the coolest way to display self.
I don't want a perk just so I can open a soda can. Like, it's what it feels like.
Oh
Like,
my
and
God.
it feels like even their skill trees, like they didn't have enough good skills, so they had to stretch them out. Like, I've heard there's some really cool stuff in Starfield, like legitimately like some really cool side quests. But the problem is I don't want to have to wade through a bunch of shit to actually get to them.
Exactly, and I do
walk
not
through
want
empty
I do not want to
terrain.
pay anything more than $15 for Starfield.
Oh, dude, I
Like,
just played it on Game Pass when I had Game Pass.
Well, there you go. You could do that too.
I didn't even spend the money.
You
it's
did it
rough,
right.
man.
You did it right.
Yeah, it's
least you-
rough.
At least you had Game Pass to go to after that bullshit.
Like there's, like I would say, I would rather like, even like a game that disappointed me like Deathloop because it just didn't have a lot of content in it. I still prefer like 99% of the time to a game like Starfield, which is roughly around the same price, but isn't nearly as coherent.
But then you have like the
Or tight,
games
is
like
what I mean, tight.
let's just say Skyrim, right? You can
Yeah.
easily just do the main quest line, and then once that's done, you have the rest of the world at your disposal, or you could choose to go about it. Would
Yeah,
you say-
the thing is with Skyrim is I could literally map out the entirety of Skyrim in my head right now.
Yeah, now you
I could
can,
tell you
but
I could tell you like the main plot of the game from beginning to end. I don't think I can tell you a single name of a single character in Starfield.
So not even like the plot was memorable.
No, there's nothing to it. Like,
Yeah.
this is the most linear a Bethesda game has been, and even then, it's just way too, like... It's way too open and empty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it feels bad. Which is a shame, because the combat's actually the best it's ever been for a Bethesda game, in my opinion.
Like,
Like,
the guns actually feel like guns.
The guns feel like guns.
Damn.
They feel way
What
better
a
than Fallout
shame,
4.
because that is... Holy shit.
And that is the one thing I'll give Starfield. Oh, sorry. One of two things I'll give Starfield. The ship build is really fun.
Okay.
I made a robot. I made a giant, like, Gundam robot that has arms out like this. And whenever you fast travel, it would show your ship like dramatically flying next to a planet, and so all you see is like. I was gonna make a ship called. I was gonna steal an idea from our priest friends and name a ship the Nematode, and it was just gonna be all the way just as vertical as possible, as one vertical column with jets on it.
That's amazing.
The idea was the only way to get to the cockpit is to climb the massive amount of ladders they'd have to stack up.
You evil.
It was gonna be like unbelievable. The Nematode is my best idea, which I stole directly from our priest friend, because I'm a hack.
Hey, you're the step that made it a reality. Okay, some people.
I'm not the stepdad. I'm the dad that stepped up.
I'm the dad that stepped up. There you go.
I'm not the stepdad. I'm the dad who stepped on you.
Oh.
Kinky. Anyway.
Oh God.
Oh, God.
No.
Man, this is a lot.
Why do you do this? Okay, first it was the
this
tails bench,
conversation
and
is
now
like-
you're stepping on people. Like,
I'm stepping on the tails bench.
no.
Oh, man. Get off the tails bench. Get away from that child, Tails. Oh, man. I hope no one looks up Tails bench because of this podcast. I don't want that to be their awakening.
I don't know, but out of the
To the
out of the 3
horrors of the
bits I've
Sonic
released,
fandom.
that was the most popular one.
Was it actually?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Look what you've done. You have to live with your actions.
So
You
part of me is really
exposed innocent eyes to that poor fox on a bench.
I really hope not. I really hope not, because that is
It's your
definitely
fault.
like.
It's your fault.
Look.
Did the screaming
don't look-
Sonic kid teach
Look,
you nothing?
Hey, listen. Don't look it up. It's not worth it. It's literally not worth it. This is a 2 girls 1 cup or blue waffle situation. You don't look them up. It's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
You don't need to know.
Oh Lord.
I was feeling a little worried that we really were like, we're not nearly as coherent in this episode as we were last episode, where we stayed on point for most of it. But isn't that kind of the point, that a lot of these really long, like lengthy RPGs kind of lose the grip on the player by just filling it with fluff and filler that
this
like
whole
isn't
episode
actually
has been a
important?
metaphor.
Yeah, definitely intentional.
Definitely intentional. Not at all. We're just.
But no, yeah.
I think we're just both. Oh, have you been diagnosed for ADHD?
Autism, but I don't think ADHD.
Ah,
Yeah, I probably do though.
same.
I want so many tangents. Regardless, but yeah, no, like the whenever I'm like looking at a new game and they're just advertising millions of hours of gameplay, I'm just like, oh cool.
You know
I
it's gonna
can't.
be bad.
I don't think it. No, I want to say
I don't know.
Think it's going to be bad.
At this
but
day
I'm
and age,
instantly like, okay, I don't have time for this game. You
true.
know, like
Being
it.
an
Like
adult.
okay, I see the trailer for a smaller game like Penny's Big Breakaway, which just came out, and that game is just a little platformer, and boy, it looks awesome. Looks great, and it's short. Because I don't
what's the
want to
price on
spend like $30.
So there's your next point. Like, am I paying the right amount for how long I'll be playing it for? Do you think? I mean, if you had enough fun and you felt like it was satisfying enough, despite it being short, then it would be worth it. Because that's how I felt the first time I played Doom Eternal.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, damn, that was awesome. I wish there was more. And then I played it again. But I didn't, despite it not being as long as I wanted it to, I still felt fine with paying $60 for it. Because it was just fun all the way through.
There's a lot of games I definitely feel like are underpriced for what they bring to the table. Hi-Fi Rush is $30, and I easily would have paid $60 for that. The game is incredible, but I don't
God, I
think
need to
people
play
would
that
have
game.
loved it as much. It's my game of the year for last year. Even with Baldur's Gate 3 being that year, Hi-Fi Rush is still my game of the year.
I just put it on
made
my
for me.
Steam Deck, so I might be
It's
chilling
so
out. And...
good. It's so good. When you get to the first boss, if you aren't hooked on the game after the first boss, like I don't even know.
I also
you.
heard the music in that game is incredible.
It's sick. I really want the vinyl, but it's like $100.
Ugh. Damn.
Yeah, it's rough.
I just paid 150 for the Dirty Heads Bot 6, but you know.
Oh, shit, yeah. I definitely didn't pay 90 for Smashing Pumpkins. Or 150 for Sonic Adventure 2.
Dude, every time Dirty Heads comes out with like a tour or a new piece of merch, or like a vinyl or something, like, yay, my wallet is gonna cry now.
I can think of like so many games though that I've played that have just been like, oh, it feels like so much of this game is just wasting my time. Friggin' one of my favorites, No More Heroes, is so much wasting time. And I get that's the point, but it feels bad. Which is why No More Heroes 2 really fixed that problem by having the minigames actually be kind of fun.
So what about like linear games, like level-based games, like Mario, Crash Bandicoot, Sonic even? Like,
yeah, so that's
would you say they're like they're not capable of wasting your time because you can see the end of the destination, or like?
Well, no,
or
no, because I've definitely played a bunch of linear games that felt like they were wasting my time. I mean, again, Alien Isolation, I feel like is way too long.
Yeah, but that's just like one walkthrough thing. I'm talking like level to level, like
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying like just straight up. This game, this linear game that is basically go from here to point A to point B at any given point, feels too long.
Okay.
I mean, shit, we can talk about Final Fantasy 15 having essentially the cock and ball torture dungeon near the end of it, where it's just a bunch of connected rooms without your party members, and it's just... Did you get to that part?
I couldn't, dude. It got too boring.
Dude, it's so long.
I just couldn't get... I think I got like halfway through 15, and I'm like, dude, I can't handle like these 20-minute car rides and just mashing the button on these, or like holding the button down to fight the monster. It just... the gameplay loop got way too boring, and the story wasn't as gripping enough to me as it should have been. Like, it's just like, yeah, I like hanging out with the boys, and they're funny and all that, but like... everything in between just sucks to get to that point.
There's a lot of No More Heroes 3 that kind of just feels like it could have been cut without any real issues. No More Heroes 3 goes back to the chore system of No More Heroes 1, and it feels just as bad as it did in No More Heroes 1. Like, you get some other side missions, but they're not much better, and they very much feel cheap. Like, sometimes wasting time is, like, part of the game, and I understand that. Like, Mass Effect 2 is basically just about hanging out with your friends, and that's mainly it. Like the game's like, oh, you got a big suicide mission to beat the Reapers, and what it actually is I'm just gonna go hang out with Garrus and see what's up with him. Oh, he's a bad cop. Okay.
Yeah.
That's the bit.
I'm gonna say, like, New Game Plus of Persona 5 and Persona 5 Royal.
Oh, it's rough.
It is so rough. Because
like, I
there's
love
only
Persona 5.
Oh, I love it's one of Persona
so
5 Royal is one of
about.
my top 10 favorite games of all time. But the
Still haven't beaten
replay.
Royal. I'm still stuck at Saijima's. I think it's Saijima.
Dude, I beat Royal probably a week after it came out, and that was like nonstop playing. Holy shit!
I got to like the casino, and I was so happy because it's my favorite dungeon in the game, and I got to the boss of it, and I saved right before it, and went like, I'll get back to this later, and then I didn't for another 2 years.
Yeah,
maybe 3 years now.
I'll also say Royal is broken compared to the original base game. Yeah. The exploits you can do in that game are just make the game fucking trivial. If you want a challenge, play the original game.
Yeah,
Royal's fucking busted. It feels good. It feels better to play, but it's. If you were a veteran of the first game, it is so easy to break.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
But even then, like, you play through this 120-hour average beat time game, right? And it is probably one of the most linear RPGs out there. And the only way you can get more content is by completing the social links, which is essentially talking to your buddies and ranking up the little cards.
Well, yeah, but at least that's like content that's like actually interesting. Like, it's not like an Ubisoft game where it's like, go collect the 7 Glubble feathers.
Yeah.
If you collect all 70 million Glubble feathers, you'll get to taste Ezio's asshole.
Oh God.
But even
like, say you go through your New Game Plus playthrough, you got to complete all the social links you ever did. The only thing for you to do after that is literally just romance.
Yeah, just pretty much
And
it.
if you want to go
Well,
through,
there's a secret bosses as well.
yeah, but I did that first playthrough. I did the
that's
I
fair.
did the Maruki stuff. It's not that hard. The therapist is literally the
No,
easiest.
no, sorry, not what I'm talking about. Not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like specifically like P4 protagonist.
Oh yeah,
the
but even that
the
you
jail
you've naturally come
sisters.
across those.
Jail
It's
sisters
should you
and
choose
the
to
Grim
do
Reaper.
that content. But even then,
Yeah.
you could just do. I'd say maybe play your first game, do New Game Plus, and miss all the social link shit you might have missed out on the first time, and then after that you're good. Unless you really want to see a romance scene, then just look it up.
It's very hard to ask me to play an 100-hour game twice.
Exactly. You have to be a huge fan. I haven't. I probably beat New Game Plus on Persona 5 base like 6 times. I've only ever gotten halfway through on a New Game Plus on Royal because there's just so much shit that I've already seen. And even then, like, a lot of the contents were used from the original game. So
it should say something. The 1,000-Year Door, which is the remake, is coming out soon, is my favorite game, and it is just a really solid like 30 hours maybe.
I'd say it's a pretty long game for what it is.
It's long, but it's not too long. It's mostly killer with very little filler.
I've seen
There's like one piece of filler I can think of in that entire game.
Would you say it's like the tournament something?
No, the tournament's my favorite part of the game.
You can go back and do it again though, right? Like,
yeah, you can.
Yeah.
But you get nothing for it. It's just, hey, do you want to do it again? Did you like doing the fights? Do you want to test yourself now that you're stronger?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they'll change it because they did show some new stuff in a recent trailer. They showed an art book that you get more art pieces from collecting Shine Sprites now. You get pieces of the soundtrack.
I'm going to go ahead and say I don't think art books are a reason to up the cost of a game. I guess if you draw...
Well, no, I'd say the fact that it's remade from the ground up.
Well, yeah, that I'm saying like, oh, you can buy this super awesome deluxe edition and you get an art book.
No. This is in game.
Cool.
Like, this isn't like you buy a deluxe edition and get an art book. This is like, no, it's base game. It's just like now when you're collecting when you used to get like basically nothing, now you get like some background stuff.
I mean, that's kind of neat.
Yeah. Like before it was just like, oh, you can buy upgrades and badges, but the thing is like the best badges in the game were based on money and not the Shine Sprites. Mm-hmm. So it was mostly pointless unless you really wanted like upgrades from Dazzle or something like that. Now they give you extra stuff as well. Oh yeah, also weird thing, they uncensored 1,000-Year Door. It looks like.
Really?
Yeah, this is going off topic again. Vivian in 1,000-Year Door is trans, just straight up.
The ghost? Oh no! The purple ghost.
No,
right?
It's a purple ghost. Yeah.
There's two ghosts though. There's like the diva one, and then there's the
that one is not a ghost. She's like a cloud woman. No. The Vivian, the little witch ghost.
Yeah.
She's canonically trans, and that was censored in the Western releases.
Mm-hmm.
So in the old version, she was relentlessly bullied for not being born biologically a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And in the American remake, she was made fun of for being clumsy. So in the remake, they showed the dialogue that was going to play there, and it is just Bedlam or Beldam, her older sister, being a transphobic piece of shit, and I'm just like, oh my god, we're actually talking about it. Because I'm like, don't touch the dialogue in that game. Just don't touch it. It's perfect. Unless you're going to talk about Vivian actually being trans in the American version. Because I would love to see that. Because Vivian's awesome. She's great. And her whole, like, leaving her sisters to join you thing makes way more sense when you consider the fact that her sister's, like, kind of a piece of shit. To her and in general.
So you think the length of that game is perfect, like 30 hours?
I think if your game is... at least 15 hours of good content, I think that is worth $60.
I don't think any game should be worth above $60. I mean,
I think $70 is a lot to ask for a game, but I think it's
is.
way worse when you consider that a lot of these games are putting in like massive amounts of filler that just aren't nearly as
or nothing at
important
all.
as
You got the whole
the main
Skull and
game.
Bones situation where there's just
Skull and
fucking
Bones
nothing.
is a scam, dude. Skull and Bones is a scam.
It is
I was
a
in the
scam.
beta for that game. That game sucks ass.
The first quadruple A game.
Oh, just just come on.
Bullshit.
Like, if
Now
we're
you
gonna
got-
talk like quadruple A, like if we really want to count quadruple A, let's count something like friggin' God of War Ragnarok or like
You know, I will say
the
that
massive,
I think Ragnarok.
massive, huge time sinks
Yeah.
with a massive amount of budget on display that feels like it costs the most ever. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think quadruple A means it's better. I just think it means it's way more expensive looking.
I don't even think quadruple
Skull
A is
and
the thing. I
Bones
think
is
it's just
not-
some bullshit term
Oh,
to
it
make
is
the game
bullshit.
sound more
It's-
expensive. Like,
Yeah, I know. It is bullshit. But, like, you can see it with certain games. Like, Baldur's Gate 3 is excellent, but
Yeah.
doesn't look nearly as expensive. It's a much better game than God of War Ragnarok, but doesn't look nearly as expensive cash money as God of War Ragnarok. You know what I mean?
I will say I didn't. After I completed Ragnarok, and I 100%ed it, I felt like the game was well worth the money.
Yeah, I
And-
have issues with the game's pacing. I feel like it, especially near the end, where like
Yeah.
it feels like it really sputters out
Mhm.
until the last fight. Like, man, you do that first like boss fight where you need the third weapon,
Yeah.
right? And it's like the big fight where you need that third weapon for. And I'm like, I feel like that was supposed to be the final boss.
It probably was.
And they were going to have another game and realized they didn't have enough content for another game. And so they just made that the last one.
All in all, I still thought it was great, but
Oh, it's a great game.
I understand what you mean by it.
But, like, man, it overstays its welcome just due
It
to the
does.
pacing.
You know, the weird thing about that game was it was only the PS5 version that was $70. The PS4 version was still at $60.
Yeah,
I don't understand
mean,
why, but
Because you'll pay for it.
I
Oink,
did.
oink, little
But
piggy.
like, would I have gotten the same experience had
I
I
mean, I bought that version too. So yeah.
had I
I'll
gotten
let
the PS4 version? Because I know it would have still played on my PS5.
you. I don't.
It might have
know
just
if it
like
would've
capped the
looked
frame
as
rate
nice.
on it or something.
Well, I don't know if it would have looked as nice because it was using some like later graphics. I think it had ray tracing, but I could be wrong.
You know, I think what it does is just
I
it
don't
scans
remember.
the disc doesn't even have the game on it anymore. It just has the code to
No,
like
yeah.
to like pull it because you have to install it still. So I think it
Yeah.
would have just if you would have bought the PS4 version and slapped it in the PS5, it would have just downloaded the files for the PS4 version, and it would just purposely hold itself back compared to like if you got the PS5 version where you get all like the fancy graphics and shit.
Yeah.
Like,
God, you know what linear game was a complete waste of time.
huh.
Like beginning to end, all of it was just wasting time. Friggin' Bulletstorm. I hate Bulletstorm so much.
Mhm.
Beginning to end, nothing happens, and it's a waste of time. And by the time you finish the game, nothing else has happened, and it ends with just you finding out you wasted your time. It sucks, and I hate it so much.
Sorry. So I got
We're gonna talk
one
about games that
more
are too
topic
long.
I want to talk about.
That game is 20. That game is like maybe like 10 to 15 hours long, and that's 25 hours too long for that game. I wish I got time back on my life before I played it.
Well, that actually kind of leads into my next topic. This will be our last topic, and we'll cut it off. But
Yeah. And maybe
arbit-
we'll stay on track for this one. Who knows? I
Probably-
might not derail it.
Probably not.
It's the theme. This
Arbitrarily.
episode's just gonna be called a bunch of bullshit.
So what do you think
Side
about
content.
arbitrarily lengthening your game through difficulty? Some examples like Cuphead or Garlic or
I've never
some
heard of Garlic.
or like Kaizo Mario like shit. Something
So
that
that
it's not a long game, but it's so fucking hard that it takes you forever to beat it.
So that depends,
Mm-hmm.
because that goes into the like that qualifies for a lot of games. I mean, we're talking like literally arcade games were built for that, right?
Exactly. They were designed to munch quarters and like get you to play. But then again, I'd have to say like probably one of the perfect examples would be Cuphead, right?
Cuphead or Dark Souls 1, I feel like perfectly encapsulates
I don't know. Dark Souls 1, I don't think it was hard, but I think it was mostly super
Dark Souls 1 you could beat in an afternoon.
Probably, if you knew what you were doing, but
yeah, if you knew what you're doing,
the
you're
game
good enough,
also
you can
just
beat that game
feels
in an afternoon.
compared to 3, 1 feels.
Oh yeah, 100% very janky, but there's a lot of content in it, and a lot of its length is coming from doing things over again and trying new ways of doing it. I love Dark Souls 1, but yeah, Cuphead's. I've beaten Cuphead in about 40 minutes before. Or sorry, about an hour. About an hour.
Damn, my record's about an hour and a half.
Yeah, I mean, I've done the live stream of me speedrunning the game with one hand. It's great.
You bastard.
Yeah. I don't know if those streams are even still around anymore. I know the stream of the DLC was. I beat that.
I actually recently
like
beat
4 hours.
the DLC for it. I loved it.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I think there's 2 ways of what you're talking about. There's 2 methods, and those would probably be either your Cupheads, your Furies, your Dark Souls, and then we have.
What about like Contra, Ninja Gaiden? Just difficult for being difficult. It wasn't even like a curve. Like Cuphead at least has a curve. Same with Dark Souls. Like you learn the patterns.
Yi Are Kung Fu, Garten of Banban, and like a few other games are like examples of it being bad. I don't know if you ever heard of Garten of Banban. That game sucks.
I have not.
That game sucks ass. Like, oh my lord, it sucks ass. Okay, so it is a Five Nights at Freddy's style mascot horror game.
Ugh, I already hate it.
And it feels cheap and badly made. It's not scary at all. It is so pedantic. But like half of that game's difficulty is just from doing tasks that are so arbitrary and need to be done one specific way. And you can get that a lot from a lot of point-and-click adventure games as well, where the difficulty isn't coming from it actually being difficult. The difficulty has to come from some moon logic that doesn't make sense or is so arbitrarily boring that it is like literally like the theory of like why Garten of Banban has a bunch of its like later features and later games is because the games themselves are basically under 2 hours long, so they can technically be refunded on Steam. So the bit was to make them artificially longer so that you couldn't refund it.
You know,
and it really feels like that because there's so many areas that force you to be really slow. And that is the worst thing in the world. And like you talk about like Yi Are Kung Fu, where the game literally sends you back to the beginning if you do one thing wrong, etc. Or Takeshi's Challenge is like that as well, where it's not really difficult, it's just kind of bullshit.
I feel like for a game to be lengthened by difficulty, it has to have at least a curve that can be learned and mastered. Like
a curve that can be learned, sure, but it also needs to be like satisfying on its own merit. Like I would say Cuphead from ground up is just really good boss fights that feel excellent, and the length does the because again I said I can beat the game in under an hour. The game itself does get most of its length from you having to like actually like take your time and learn the boss
even
fights.
then Cuphead has like sort of an excuse for its length, especially once you start getting good at it, because the game was originally designed as a boss rush. The running guns were just kind of added in because they could.
And boy, does it feel like it, especially when you play the DLC and there's no running gun sections.
Yeah.
Which is just, merciful, because I hated the running gun sections.
I didn't mind them, but they didn't feel like they were definitely not as fun as the boss fights.
I want to iterate, they aren't bad. They're just not nearly as good as the boss fights.
Exactly.
The boss fights are so excellent.
And you're looking at 3 worlds, each having like 5 to 6 bosses in them, and they're all so good, except for the fucking robot guy. I hate that fucking guy. That guy sucks.
Robot Guy is my speedrun killer.
Same. I either beat
Robot
it
Guy
in 2
and
minutes
Dragon.
or I play it like 20 times over.
Robot Guy or Dragon are like my 2 speedrun killers.
Dragon's
Everyone
easy.
else I can deal with.
Dragon is piss easy to me.
Not if you're playing it with one hand.
Well, I don't know what to tell you for that one.
B is also very difficult with one hand. because you have to aim up and down a lot, and doing that with one hand is really difficult. I'm actually planning on eventually doing a stream because off topic. I have a DDR dance pad.
You're not gonna do Cuphead with a DDR pad.
No. Sorry. Okay, I didn't want to get your hopes up that much. No, okay. I'm gonna do it with a DDR dance pad and a Wii remote.
How?
So that's the problem, is I haven't figured out how. The idea I have right now is if I can connect a Wii remote and get it to register me pointing up as the up arrow, I could do a run of the game where I actually have to go left and right in the dance pad, and I have to aim up or aim down to aim down.
You're a psycho.
I know what I am. But I have to always keep it in front of me. And I have to move. I've beaten Cuphead maybe a million times. I need to know. I need to make it weird.
You have to at this point.
I have to.
Otherwise,
I gotta get Donkey Kong bongos out, or I get the DDR dance pad out.
I'd rather see the bongos.
Most people would rather see the bongos, but I'm weird.
That's fine.
But yeah. No, yeah, the difficulty... I think difficulty to pad out your game is fine, depending on if learning that difficulty curve is satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
Like Cuphead, you're constantly getting better as you're playing it. So that difficulty curve feels a lot better over time, and the difficulty that's actually holding you back is learning the enemy's patterns and how the attacks work. Same with Fury, or F-U-R-I. I don't know if you ever played that.
I have. It's really good.
That game can be beaten in like an hour by speedrunners.
Mm-hmm.
But like the actual like learning the boss fights and taking your time to get good at them is what makes the game like the length it is, and it's so good.
Then what about roguelikes? But like you can buff yourself up the more you go, but even then, have you even beaten the game? Because even if you do reach the end on some of these hypothetical
like
endings,
beating it once is only the beginning of the game.
Exactly, like Hades.
Yes. Hades is a perfect example. I actually just started playing the technical test for Hades too. It's so good.
Yeah, I heard you already beat it.
Twice, actually.
Jesus, man.
Okay, the end of the test is literally tells you, hey, once you beat this 5 times, please just stop playing it.
Really?
Like that is when we consider your participation in this test complete. I'm like, yeah, okay. Makes sense. I already met my wife in the game, so
there you go.
That was nice. I already met Arachne, my spider wife. I love her. Man, I really hope this doesn't end the same way that the Dusa romance path ends, because, man, I know how to pick them. I always choose the girls that reject me. Oh, that was the worst. Like, oh, man, I love Medusa. Oh, her romance path ends with her rejecting you. I'm like, oh.
Okay. I didn't know that. I was going for Meg.
Oh, yeah. No, you see, that was a smart option.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. But yeah, no, as I said, I'm a much bigger fan of a shorter game that's all killer, no filler than a longer game that is mostly filler.
Same.
Like that kind of thing.
But
just
I will never like reject a lengthy adventure should I have the time, because like with Breath of the Wild, Baldur's Gate, God of War Ragnarok, and at least for the most part of it, like they feel good to play, and the stories and what you discover just keeps you tied to it. But at my current point in life, I think I'm with you where like a good 8 to 15 hour experience is all I need to feel satisfied. Yeah. But even then, like you got the price you got to deal with, and you got to like hope to God that like what you're investing into, because not even though it is the rise of indie games, not all indie games are that great.
Not all indie games are made equal.
Exactly.
This is not the shit on indies. I love, like, most of my favorite games I'm playing right now have been indie games.
Half my channel revolves around the indie scene, so literally it keeps my inspiration alive to like keep doing this shit. But like, holy shit, like there's some fucking stinkers out there.
Shout out to Sanabi. Sanabi's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
I was just playing Killbug before we got on stream, which is also great.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think, is there any others I want to shout out, since I just said like there's a lot of bad indies. I want to shout out some really good ones, but
Same.
ones that aren't like already being shouted out a ton. Like I'm not gonna say Faith because Faith is excellent and everyone knows it's excellent.
Faith? Oh, I love Faith.
Yeah, Faith is just impeccable. So I want to shout out something that you don't see a lot of like love for. You know what? The Axe Cop game's pretty sick. Though I'm biased because I know the guy who made it.
Oh, that's still pretty cool.
No, yeah. But no, yeah. Like, okay, you want to know it's a great, like, example of, like, $60 for a short game that I do think was worth the money?
Hit me with it.
Let's talk about Dishonored.
You know, the first
Dishonored
one, yes. The second one...
I'm not talking about Dishonored 2. I'm talking about Dishonored 2. I like Dishonored 2 a lot. I think it's worth the money, but I don't like it as much as Dishonored 1 for a few reasons. Mainly because Dishonored 1 is a lot tighter. Like, it feels like a lot more controlled. It's shorter, but it feels so much more tight.
It does.
Like, I can go back and replay Dishonored 1 a million times and do a million different types of playthroughs. Like, I've done full pacifist, full aggro, low chaos, high kill counts.
Jeez.
Or, low chaos, only kills. But, like, I'm only killing the person at the end, like, the evil at the end. Like, stuff like that. I've been doing one playthrough that I've been loving so far, which is, just straight up, can only be acts of coincidence. Like, they have to be kills that cannot be traced back to a person.
Jeez.
So if I'm going full kill, however, none of the kills can be traced back to me. So it has to be like, I have to drop like an anvil on someone's head or something.
Yeah, but you have that variety, and I think that's what gives Dishonored the most, what gives
And
it
that's
its
what
replay value, is because there's so many different ways to play it.
And that's what gives that's what gives people the motivation to play like a lot of M-Sims, like the stuff that Arcane has made.
Yeah.
Deathloop, Dishonored, Prey, which I'm only going to refer to as Psycho Shock from here on out because that's what it should have been called.
Prey?
Yeah, the original, I guess originally the name was supposed to be Psycho Shock, and
Yeah.
then it got renamed to Prey because they own the IP.
Damn.
Or Bethesda owned the IP, rather.
I like
But
your
yeah,
idea of shouting out a couple indie titles, so
Yeah.
let's do that.
Oh,
and
but
then
sorry,
we'll
can I finish my thought real quick?
Oh, yeah, sure. Go for it.
But Dishonored 1 can be beaten in about 2 hours. Like, it's not a long game, especially if you're just doing, like, the main content and just
I suck at Dishonored, but I love it.
I love Dishonored. It's so much fun to dick around in because there's so many different ways to do it. Like, going through that one, like, the party side quest peacefully is so fascinating because you have to talk to people. You have to find out which of the girls is the right one. Meanwhile, doing it full aggro is just, alright, kill everyone at this party, let God sort them out.
But that's so fun.
It's so much. This thing, neither of the runs feels worse than the other. They're both really fun for their own reasons. It's so cool. And I love it.
It's really well made.
And despite the fact it's only 2 hours it's like really only a 2 hour long game, you get way more content just from like how fun the content that's there is. Like, I'll go back and replay Dishonored 1 a million times because it's so fun. And even Dishonored 2, like, despite my issues with it, mainly just due to how it ran before, and like, admittedly, the most bad reason to like the first one more is if I quick load in Dishonored 1, it is a split second. Meanwhile, I have to wait at least 10 seconds for it to load a quick save.
Jesus.
Dishonored 2, because that's how I did my my no chaos runs. I would quick save constantly, and if I ever got caught, I'd just quick load. But it takes longer in Dishonored 2. It's such a stupid bullshit reason to like one more, but it really does make the difference for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, you want to shout out some indie games?
Sure. Let's see. I guess I'll try to go on the lower end too, but I'll do my best. Shout out to Dead West. Fantastic stealth game. I love it.
Yeah, game's dope.
Let's see. Rusted
Wait,
Moss.
Dead West or Blood West?
Blood West. I keep saying Dead West. Blood West.
Yeah.
My bad.
Blood West is sick. Yeah. Okay,
Blood
that's what I
West.
thought you meant, but I wasn't sure because I'm like, wait.
Because Dead West is a game too.
I've not played Dead West, I'm afraid.
I haven't either, but I know it's out there. Blood West. Rusted Moss.
Game's sick. Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, Rusted Moss. I saw your review for that. It looked sick.
It's really good.
Yeah.
And Cyberhook. It's another good one.
I think I've heard of that.
Yeah, garlic. Christ, made me want to mash my own balls into paste, but
I need to look at that because I enjoy hard games.
it is a hard 2D platformer, and it was actually on Game Bracket as a mystery fighter.
I'll be real. I haven't watched all the Game Bracket stuff. I need to see that.
The Game Bracket is such a fucking holy shit. It's such a labor of love. I don't even know when I'm gonna do the next one, but whatever.
I have about 2 more I would shout out.
I'll do one more. What's another great one I've played? Satisfactory. I've always loved Satisfactory.
That's more of a AA game at this point, but yeah, it's very good.
Humble beginnings.
Yeah, Humble Beginnings. I want to also shout out Pseudo Regalia. It is like $6. It's like maybe an hour long, but it's really good, like N64 style platformer. It's what really should have been Castlevania 64, but wasn't.
Yeah.
And I'm also going to shout out Garden Guardian, which is like $3, and it is basically a phone game, but it's very it's a very nice little thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like I'm in this point in my life, if my choice is between the really big, super content rich game that's like 1,000,000 hours, or the not quite as big, compact, tight knit game, I'm probably gonna choose the shorter game only because I know I'll at least get through it for the most part.
Do you mean that in like an indie sense, or it could be like any type of funding?
Most types of funding, I would say. Indies, I don't really expect to be super long because, I mean, they're not dealing with like the Mega Millions budget that a lot of AAA games have.
True.
So they can't afford that. Like, I mean, shit, Fear and Hunger is another good example. Don't look that up. Like, it's the best game I can recommend no one. But Fear and Hunger, like, you can beat in like roughly 40 minutes. Really.
I feel the same way.
But,
It's
like,
very
there's a shit zillion amounts.
I had a whole ass
God,
week
the
to try and
hours.
beat Baldur's Gate 3, and I still couldn't.
Oh, dude, it's such a long thing. That's the only thing keeping me from playing Baldur's Gate 3 is I'm just like, there's so much left.
I know.
There's so much.
But it's so good. All right.
It's so good, but it's so much that it's just it feels
is so
intimidating
good.
and daunting. So I just end up being like, I don't want to play it. I'm just gonna go back to playing Judgment, which is also a
my
long game, but
beloved.
at least Carlac, my beloved,
Yeah.
best girl,
Absolutely.
best girl. I love her. You want to talk about? You want? I'm a big fan of women who hurt you when they touch you on accident, as applied by Rogue.
God. All right. Thank you all for watching, geeks. We'll
Like
see you
and
next
subscribe
time
and
with a brand new
comment to
topic
other
that we're
channels.
definitely derail from.
Like, comment, subscribe to Super Bunny Hop.
Do that. Bye.
Bye. Love you.